Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to the Adventures of the Broken Retired. I certainly do appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all of your support, your subscriptions. Once again, the comments have been absolutely wonderful. I'm here, by the way. I'm Don. I'll be your host for today, and along with my trusty friend Elmer the Reckless Remote, who may have to be put on probation for not doing his job. But we will be the host today for the show, for the story, for the show. It's not a show. I don't know why I keep saying that. Anyway, it's for today's story. I've had several requests through the comments to do some stories about stuff that's on the walls in my office. When I made this room my office, Amy painted it and did all the decorating for me. She did a great job. Today's picture is going to be about Don and music. Now, there's a little white piece of paper in the corner of this thing that has everybody's name on it. So I covered that up. I don't have permission to show the names. And I mean, I don't know whether they care or not. I mean, who knows? They may have become people of consequence, or they may be suffering consequences. Who knows? I haven't seen them in years. So I just figured I'd just cover their names up just out of respect. So let me see if I can get this without the glare. Now this picture, see what we can do here. All right. That dollar bill, by the way, is officially the first dollar that I ever made playing music. Believe it or not, that's me right there with the cool mustache looking directly into the sun. This picture was taken in October of '86, and I was figuring it out just a few minutes ago, and that's almost 40 years ago. My, how time flies when you're having fun, or how time flies when you're aging, which you're doing if time is flying. Anyhow, you're Ed and Barney barking. Anyhow, this is the first official band that I played with. When I first started playing, well, let me start here. When I was a kid, early 70s, there was an album that came out. It was called Machine Head. It was by a band called Deep Purple. And there was a song, that's a great album, by the way. There's a song on there called Pictures of Home. And in the song Pictures of Home, there is a bass ride. The guy takes off and does this bass run. And from the first time I ever heard that, I was just in awe, and I decided I wanted to be a bass player. Well, it took a lot of years passing by for me to get around to bringing that desire to fruition. I think I was about 22 or 23. I went down to a pawn shop and bought this little El Cheapo bass guitar and learned how to play it. I spent a lot of time, an hour or two a night at the house learning how to play that bass guitar. I had a little amp, just enough, That bass was made by a company called Top Flight. It was a real high quality piece, but it worked for what it needed to work for. Then I stepped up to a T20 PV, which was a much better guitar, and I got some other equipment. And after being a bass player for 11 months, after working on it for 11 months, I auditioned for a band. They had a problem with their bass player not showing up, which seemed to be pretty common. So they decided they were going to hire me and get rid of him. And so I went for the audition, passed the audition after only playing for 11 months, which I thought was pretty good. And after the first practice, was promptly relieved of the duty of being the bass player. So my music career with the first band I was hired by lasted a total of about 3 hours. And I was, hey, my heart wasn't broken. I was shocked that I had gotten into it so quickly. But it is what it is. But I stayed with it. I stayed paying attention. I stayed working at it, and I ended up with these guys here. That picture I just showed you. I was working at a car dealership, and we towed in a broken truck, and I was talking to the guy, and he was a drummer, and he wanted to put a band together. Of course, everybody always wants to put a band together, but we put the band together, and we did okay. We played a few places, did okay. As a matter of fact, and I hope I can say this because this is going to end up being more than one part for sure. I hope I can say this because I don't know if I can or not. But there's a movie that was filmed in Louisiana called Belisar the Cajun, which I've never seen, by the way. But from what I understand, it does show some pretty good shots of the Atchafalaya Basin, which we're going to visit together one day, by the way. As soon as it cools off outside a little bit, we're gonna go to the Atchafalaya Basin. Anyhow, the film crew was going to have a Halloween party, and they rented out a facility. I'm not sure exactly what it was. They were going to have a Halloween party, and they wanted a band to play. They rented out a facility. They got it catered, and this is a bunch of people from Hollywood. It was Halloween night. It's a bunch of people from Hollywood. So when I tell you that the Halloween costumes that they had were good, trust me, the Halloween costumes that they had were absolutely wonderful. They had some great costumes. Anyway, so we played the gig and got paid, and that dollar that's in that frame, that's where that came from, was getting paid by them. We had a good time. We played some other places, and then as it goes with all bands, all things must pass. Artists are very creative people. And very creative people tend to have kind of strong ideas and they want to go a certain way, So bands come and go until they happen to fall into the right group of people. And even then, there's infighting between people on the direction the band should go. Probably most famously displayed by the Beatles, ended up breaking up. But anyway, so I played with these people here. We had a lot of fun. I remember we were playing a going away party for a guy that had joined the Marines, and they had hired us to play, and they took 3 or 4 sheets, 4 or 5, whatever, sheets of plywood and built a little stage in their backyard, and didn't realize, I have no idea, but they didn't realize the band was going to need electricity. So we show up and start setting up our stuff and say, where are we going to plug in? And the stage is out in the middle of the backyard. And so they ran an extension cord from a building, an outdoor building that they had, out to the stage. And we plugged everything in, and we all ran off of one extension cord. And about halfway through the second song, the receptacle the cord was plugged into the ceiling. It was mounted on the ceiling in the building. And so about halfway through the second song, the weight of the cord unplugged it, and my screen went out. We lost electricity to everything. So they figured out a way to resolve that, and we carried on. Most important thing, keep playing. I'm going to say this one too, just for the fun of it. I had I've always never had a lot of spending money. So whenever I needed something, I had to figure out a way to get it. So I needed a mic stand. Believe it or not, I used to do backup vocals. And some songs I actually sang. There are a few songs that I sang. But I needed a mic stand. So I was working at the shop, and they had a welder over there. So I took some pieces of metal they had laying around and made myself a mic stand. It was actually pretty cool, worked pretty well. But it was all metal. And every once in a while, when you would lean up to that mic stand, I guess it was because it was all metal. It would throw a little fire to your lower lip or your upper lip, depending on where you were. You'd lean forward, it'd hit you like a spark plug right there in the lip. That made you jump every single time. And I remember one night we were playing at a pool party. And we're underneath the patio cover of these people's house. And it's a big house, big patio cover. And all these people are in and out of the pool, and we're standing there playing. And some guy decided he was going to get up out of the pool and come over to the stage and start singing into my microphone. Well, when I saw him coming towards me and realized what he was about to do, I backed up because I thought for sure bare feet. The guy was soaking wet. He was in the pool. Soaking wet, bare feet on concrete, grabbing onto that mic stand that would arc to my lip if I wasn't careful. I thought for sure it was gonna take the guy out. I thought for sure he's done, you know. And for some reason it didn't hit him. Don't know. We're at 11 minutes. I'm going to have to break this. This is Don with the Adventures of the Broken Retired. Thank you very much for being here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, maybe even share it, and don't forget to hit the notification button so that you know when the new videos come out and you don't have to worry about digging through to try to find them. Let's see if Elmer can get us out of here. Double click, baby. And you see, I double clicked him. He didn't do it.